Have you ever stopped to think about the giant industry that keeps our pets healthy and our food supply safe? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the biggest players in that space to see how they're really doing. We're giving Elanco Animal Health a report card, and trust me, the results are pretty fascinating.
So let's meet the company of the hour, Elanco Animal Health. These guys are a huge force in the industry. They make everything from the flea medicine you might give your dog to really critical treatments that keep farm animals healthy. Their reach is massive, and their performance, well, it tells a really interesting story. And think about it for a second. A company like Elanco, their performance has these huge ripple effects. It impacts our pets' well-being, the stability of our food, and it has major economic implications. So when they drop their latest numbers, it's way more than just a financial statement. It's really a health check on a super vital industry. All right, so let's start with the big picture, the headline numbers. And right out of the gate, it looks like Elanco had a seriously strong quarter. Get this. They pulled in over $1.14 billion in revenue in just one quarter. And to put that into perspective, this wasn't just a good number, it actually blew past what all the experts on Wall Street were predicting. But honestly, here's the number that tells an even bigger story. Their organic revenue. That's the core business. It grew by 9%. Now, that's so crucial because it means the company is growing on its own strength, not because of some one-time boost or weird currency stuff. It's a true sign of a healthy, thriving company. And, this wasn't some lucky fluke either. This makes it 10 straight quarters of this kind of fundamental growth. So we're not just seeing a one-hit wonder, we're seeing a really consistent pattern of momentum. So the big question is, where is all this growth actually coming from? Well, the answer really lies in their products. They've got this lineup of innovative, high-performing treatments that are just absolutely crushing it with customers. And this is not a story about just one hit product. They're seeing success all over the place. Credelio Quattro is grabbing more of the U.S. market. Zenrelia is huge here in the U.S., but also in Japan and Brazil. Experior, a cattle product, saw sales jump almost 80%, and AdTab is growing over 50%. I mean, this is basically the definition of a powerful product pipeline, just firing on all cylinders. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The company's CEO, Jeff Simmons, he summed it up perfectly. He's pointing right at their core strategy. Fuel your growth with nonstop innovation. And they're so confident about it, they're actually raising their future financial goals. Okay, but a good report card isn't just about the A-pluses. To get the whole story, we've got to look beneath the surface at some of the financial headwinds Elanco is dealing with.
And this is where the picture gets a little more complex. So on one hand, a key measure of their profitability, their adjusted EBITDA, grew a healthy 7%. That's great. But on the other hand, their adjusted earnings per share, which is what investors really watch, it actually declined by 7%. So wait a minute, how can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, it turns out the pressure on their earnings isn't coming from their main business at all. It's coming from outside stuff and operational factors. Things like, a higher tax rate, good old inflation, and increased manufacturing costs. They're all squeezing the bottom line, even while their sales are growing. This really highlights just how important it is for them to manage their finances, especially their debt. And that brings us to a key metric called the net leverage ratio. Now, it sounds kind of technical, but all it is a way to measure a company's debt compared to its earnings. The lower the number, the healthier the company's finances are. Simple as that. So Elanco's ratio is at 3.6 times their earnings. Now, that number itself isn't the whole story. The real key takeaway here is that they're paying down their debt faster than they promised they would. That shows they are dead serious about getting their financial house in order. So that leads to the game plan, right? How do you keep this incredible growth engine running while you're also dealing with these financial pressures? Well, for Elanco, the answer is a 1-2 punch. Keep innovating like crazy and have a super clear strategy. And they're not just talking about innovation, they are putting a huge number behind it. They've actually raised their revenue forecast from new products to $1.15 billion by 2026. That is a massive vote of confidence in what they've got coming down the pipeline. And they even have a name for this whole plan, Elanco Ascend. It's basically a 3-step approach. First, get more efficient by optimizing their operations all over the world. Second, double down on what's working by investing even more in innovation. And third, use all that new efficiency to generate some major cost savings by 2030. And their outlook for the coming year just shows how confident they are in this plan. They're predicting continued revenue growth, an even bigger jump in profitability, and a double-digit increase in earnings per share. And at the same time, they plan to keep hammering away at that debt, aiming to bring their leverage ratio down even more. It's a bold plan for sure.
So, okay, we've seen the awesome growth, we've seen the financial challenges, and we've seen the ambitious plan for what's next. What does it all add up to? What's the final grade on Elanco's report card? Here it is, the bottom line. Their innovation engine is so powerful, it's driving all this growth. And that growth is giving them the financial firepower they need to navigate those headwinds like inflation and push forward with a long-term strategy to become a leaner, more profitable company.
And all of this leaves us with one big question. Elanco's got the blockbuster products, they've got a clear strategy, and they are proving they can get it done. So is this the winning formula? Is this what's going to allow them to not just compete, but to truly dominate and define the entire future of animal health?